Asterisk, F Cking Dangerous, stop being soft. The world doesn't reward average, it crushes it. If you walk into life harmless, you get ignored, replaced, forgotten. Being dangerous doesn't mean chaos, it means power under control. It means discipline so sharp it cuts excuses. You wake up early, train harder, think faster, act smarter. People should feel your presence before you speak. Build strength, build money, build a mindset that refuses limits. A dangerous person isn't reckless, they're unstoppable. Become someone who can destroy obstacles but chooses when to strike. That's real power. Reject weakness in every form. Because weakness is not just a lack of strength. It's a habit you practice daily without realizing it. It shows up when you hesitate, when you delay, when you choose comfort over growth. Most people think weakness is physical, but it starts in the mind. It's the voice that tells you to sleep longer, to quit earlier, to avoid pressure, to stay invisible. If you listen to that voice, you train yourself to lose before the fight even begins. Rejecting weakness means recognizing that comfort is a trap designed to keep you average. Every time you choose the easy option, you reinforce a version of yourself that cannot compete in a ruthless world. You have to become allergic to excuses. Weak people always have reasons. Strong people have results. When something goes wrong, weakness blames, complains, and waits for rescue. Strength adapts, adjusts, and moves forward without hesitation. Reject weakness by cutting off every justification that protects your bad habits. You don't need motivation, you need standards. High standards force action, even when you don't feel like it. They make discipline automatic, not optional. Pain is not your enemy, it is your teacher. Weakness runs from pain, strength studies it. When you push your limits physically and mentally, you expand what you're capable of. You stop negotiating with yourself. You stop asking, should I do this? And start saying, this must be done. That shift changes everything. Weakness thrives in indecision. Strength thrives in commitment. Your environment matters. If you surround yourself with weak people, you will slowly adopt their mindset. They normalize mediocrity. They celebrate laziness. They justify failure. Reject weakness by choosing better influences, by putting yourself in situations that demand more from you. Growth doesn't happen in comfort zones. It happens under pressure. Rejecting weakness also means taking full responsibility for your life. No blaming circumstances, no pointing fingers, no waiting for perfect conditions. You take what you have and you maximize it. You turn setbacks into lessons and obstacles into opportunities to prove yourself. Weakness looks for shortcuts. Strength builds foundations. It's not about quick wins, it's about becoming someone who can win consistently. You must train your mind to operate with clarity and control. Emotions can cloud judgment, but discipline keeps you focused. When things get hard, weakness reacts emotionally, strength responds strategically. You stay calm, you think clearly, and you execute without hesitation. That's how you separate yourself from the majority. Reject weakness daily, not once. It's a constant battle, a decision you make in every action. The way you speak, the way you move, the way you think, all of it reflects whether you accept weakness or eliminate it. Every small choice compounds into your identity. You either build a version of yourself that commands respect or one that gets overlooked. Build discipline by doing what needs to be done without waiting for motivation. Motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes based on feelings, but discipline is a system you follow regardless of how you feel. You wake up and execute because you decided that your standards matter more than your emotions. Most people fail because they rely on bursts of energy instead of building habits that carry them through low days. Discipline removes the need to negotiate with yourself. There is no debate, no delay, no excuses, just action. You start by controlling the small things, how you wake up, how you eat, how you spend your time. If you can't manage basic routines, you won't handle bigger challenges. Discipline is built through repetition, through doing the same hard things over and over until they become automatic. You don't skip because you're tired. You don't quit because it's boring. You understand that consistency beats intensity. Anyone can go hard for a day, but very few can stay locked in for months and years. Structure your life so that discipline becomes unavoidable. Set clear rules for yourself and follow them strictly. Decide when you train, when you work, when you rest, and stick to it. Remove distractions that pull you away from your goals. Weak people rely on willpower alone. Disciplined people design environments that make success easier. You control what you can, and you eliminate what weakens you. Discipline also means delaying gratification. You don't chase quick pleasure at the cost of long-term success. You sacrifice comfort today so you can dominate tomorrow. While others are wasting time, you are investing it. While others are looking for shortcuts, you are building real skills. That's how you create an edge that most people can't match. You must hold yourself accountable at all times. No one is coming to check on you. No one is going to force you to improve. It's you versus you. When you fail, you don't hide from it. You face it, analyze it, and correct it. Discipline is honest. It doesn't tolerate self-deception. You know when you're slacking, and you fix it immediately. Pain, boredom, and repetition are part of the process. Discipline accepts all of it without complaint. You keep moving forward even when progress feels slow, because you trust the system you've built. You understand that results come from accumulated effort, not instant rewards. Over time, discipline transforms your identity. You stop being someone who tries and become someone who executes. Build discipline by doing what needs to be done without waiting for motivation. Motivation is unreliable. It comes and goes based on feelings. But discipline is a system you follow, regardless of how you feel. You wake up and execute because you decided that your standards matter more than your emotions. Most people fail because they rely on bursts of energy instead of building habits that carry them through low days. Discipline removes the need to negotiate with yourself. There is no debate, no delay, no excuses, just action. You start by controlling the small things. How you wake up, how you eat, how you spend your time. If you can't manage basic routines, you won't handle bigger challenges. Discipline is built through repetition, through doing the same hard things over and over until they become automatic. You don't skip because you're tired. You don't quit because it's boring. You understand that consistency beats intensity. Anyone can go hard for a day, but very few can stay locked in for months and years. Structure your life so that discipline becomes unavoidable. Set clear rules for yourself and follow them strictly. Decide when you train, when you work, when you rest, and stick to it. Remove distractions that pull you away from your goals. Weak people rely on willpower alone. Disciplined people design environments that make success easier. You control what you can, and you eliminate what weakens you. Discipline also means delaying gratification. You don't chase quick pleasure at the cost of long-term success. You sacrifice comfort today so you can dominate tomorrow. While others are wasting time, you are investing it. While others are looking for shortcuts, you are building real skills. That's how you create an edge that most people can't match. You must hold yourself accountable at all times. No one is coming to check on you. No one is going to force you to improve. It's you versus you. When you fail, you don't hide from it. You face it, analyze it, and correct it. Discipline is honest. It doesn't tolerate self-deception. You know when you're slacking, and you fix it immediately. Pain, boredom, and repetition are part of the process. Discipline accepts all of it without complaint. You keep moving forward even when progress feels slow, because you trust the system you've built. You understand that results come from accumulated effort, not instant rewards. Over time, discipline transforms your identity. You stop being someone who tries and become someone who executes. Control your mind, or it will control you. Every action starts as a thought, and if your thoughts are weak, your life follows the same pattern. Most people let their minds run wild, jumping from doubt to fear to distraction, never holding a single clear direction. That lack of control turns them into reactive individuals, always responding to life instead of shaping it. You cannot afford that. You need a mind that obeys you, not one that argues with you. Your thoughts are not facts, they are suggestions. Weakness comes from believing every negative idea that appears. You think you're tired, so you stop. You think it's too hard, so you quit. You think you're not ready, so you delay. That's how people sabotage themselves daily. Controlling your mind means filtering those thoughts and rejecting anything that doesn't serve your purpose. You don't entertain doubt, you replace it with direction. You don't sit in fear, you move through it. Focus is your weapon. In a world full of distractions, the ability to lock in on a single goal gives you an advantage most people will never have. Every notification, every meaningless activity, every moment of wasted attention weakens your control. You must train yourself to concentrate deeply and ignore what doesn't matter. When you sit down to work, you work. When you train, you train. No half effort, no divided attention. Emotions are another battlefield. Anger, stress, anxiety, these can either control you or be controlled by you. Weak people react instantly. They let emotions dictate their behavior. Strong individuals observe, pause, and respond with intention. You don't suppress emotions, you master them. You understand when to use them and when to stay calm. That level of control keeps you sharp under pressure. Your environment feeds your mind. What you watch, what you listen to, who you spend time with, it all shapes your thinking. If you constantly consume negativity or surround yourself with people who complain, your mind will reflect that. Control your inputs so your outputs stay strong. Feed your mind with information that builds clarity, confidence, and focus. Discipline and mental control go hand in hand. When your mind tells you to stop, you keep going. When it tells you to take the easy path, you choose the harder one. Over time, you train your brain to follow your commands without resistance. That's when you gain real power. Silence is important. If your mind is always filled with noise, you can't think clearly. Take time to sit without distraction, to observe your thoughts and understand them. The more aware you are, the easier it becomes to control where your mind goes. Control your mind in every moment, not just when it's convenient. The way you think determines the way you act, and the way you act determines the results you get. If you master your thoughts, you eliminate hesitation, doubt, and fear as obstacles. You become precise, intentional, and focused on what actually matters. Develop real strength by going beyond appearances and building something that actually holds under pressure. Strength isn't just how you look, it's how you perform when things get difficult. Anyone can seem strong when life is easy, but real strength shows when you're tired, stressed, and tested. That's where most people collapse. You don't aim to impress. You aim to endure and dominate in situations where others break. Physical strength is the foundation. Your body is your base, and if it's weak, everything else suffers. You train consistently, not occasionally. You push past comfort, lift heavier, move faster, last longer. You don't chase shortcuts or quick results. You build capacity over time. Pain in training is not punishment, it's preparation. It teaches your body and your mind to handle stress without shutting down. A strong body carries a strong presence, and that presence changes how people see you and how you see yourself. Mental strength is what keeps you going when your body wants to quit. It's the ability to stay focused when things get chaotic. You don't panic under pressure. You don't crumble when plans fail. You adapt and keep moving. Most people fall apart because they haven't trained their minds to handle adversity. You deliberately put yourself in challenging situations so you become comfortable with discomfort. Over time, what used to feel hard becomes normal. Real strength also means emotional control. You don't let frustration, anger, or fear dictate your actions. You feel them, but you don't become them. You stay composed when others lose control. That stability makes you reliable, and reliability is power. People who can't control themselves can't be trusted with responsibility. And without responsibility, you stay limited. There's also strength and discipline. Showing up every day, doing the work, even when there's no reward in sight. That consistency builds resilience. You don't rely on bursts of energy. You rely on systems. You become someone who executes regardless of mood or circumstances. That's what separates those who talk from those who achieve. Real strength requires sacrifice. You give up distractions, comfort, and sometimes even approval from others. Not everyone will understand your focus, and that's fine. You're not building strength for validation. You're building it for capability. You want to know that no matter what situation you're placed in, you can handle it. You measure strength by what you can endure, not what you can show off. Long hours, tough decisions, setbacks, pressure. These are your tests. Each time you face them without backing down, you reinforce who you are. Over time, you stop questioning whether you're capable because you've proven it to yourself repeatedly. Stay unpredictable by refusing to become easy to read, easy to control, or easy to replace. Most people fall into patterns so obvious that anyone paying attention can predict their next move. They think the same, act the same, react the same. That predictability makes them weak in competitive environments because others can prepare for them, counter them, and stay one step ahead. You don't give people that advantage. You move with intention, not routine exposure. Unpredictability doesn't mean chaos, it means controlled variation. You still have discipline. You still follow your systems, but you don't reveal everything. You don't show your full strategy, you don't announce every plan, and you don't make your behavior obvious. Silence becomes part of your power. While others talk and expose their intentions, you observe and calculate. That difference creates an edge that most people never realize until it's too late. You adapt quickly. If something isn't working, you don't stay stuck out of pride or habit. You shift direction without hesitation. Weak people cling to routines because they're comfortable, even when those routines are failing them. You stay flexible. You analyze situations in real time and adjust your approach. That ability makes you difficult to counter because you're not locked into one way of thinking or acting control your reactions. If people can predict how you'll respond emotionally, they can manipulate you. If they know what triggers you, they can use it against you. You don't give them that access. You remain composed, even when provoked. Sometimes you respond, sometimes you don't. Sometimes you act immediately. Sometimes you wait. That inconsistency in reactions keeps others guessing and prevents them from gaining control over your behavior. You also keep your progress private. Not everything needs to be shared. When you constantly broadcast your moves, you lose the element of surprise. Let your results speak instead of your plans. Work in silence and show outcomes when they are undeniable. That approach builds both respect and uncertainty around you because people don't fully understand how you operate. Unpredictability also means stepping outside expectations. People will try to label you, define you, and put you in a box they can understand. You don't stay in that box. You evolve. You improve skills they didn't expect you to develop. You take actions they didn't anticipate. That constant evolution makes it impossible for anyone to fully map out your capabilities. At the same time, your unpredictability is always backed by control. You're not random, you're strategic. Every move has a reason, even if others can't see it. You don't act impulsively, you act decisively. There's a difference. One is weakness disguised as boldness, the other is calculated power. Stay unpredictable in your thinking, your actions, and your responses. The less people can define you, the harder it becomes for them to compete with you. You become someone who operates on a different level, where others are always reacting, while you are always deciding the pace and direction. Eliminate excuses by refusing to tolerate any story that justifies inaction. Excuses are comfortable lies you tell yourself to avoid responsibility. They sound reasonable, they feel valid, and that's why they're dangerous. I'm tired. I don't have time. I'll start tomorrow. These aren't real barriers, they're habits of avoidance. Every time you accept one, you reinforce a mindset that keeps you stuck. You don't negotiate with excuses. You shut them down immediately. You need to understand that excuses shift blame away from you. They make external factors the reason for your lack of progress. Weak thinking says the situation is the problem. Strong thinking says you are the solution. No matter what's happening around you, there is always something you can do to move forward. It might not be perfect, it might not be easy, but it exists. Your job is to find it and execute. Time is the most common excuse, and it's also the weakest. Everyone has the same 24 hours. The difference is how you use them. If you waste hours on distractions and then claim you don't have time, you're lying to yourself. Eliminate that by tracking your day honestly. See where your time actually goes. Once you become aware, you remove the illusion and force accountability. Energy is another excuse people hide behind. They say they're too tired to act, but they never question why. Poor habits, lack of structure, and constant distractions drain your energy. Fix those and your capacity increases. Discipline creates energy. When you stay consistent with sleep, training, and focused work, your body and mind adapt. Waiting to feel ready is a trap that keeps you inactive. Fear often disguises itself as excuses. You avoid taking risks by telling yourself you need more preparation or better conditions. In reality, you're afraid of failure, judgment, or discomfort. Eliminating excuses means facing that fear directly. You act despite it. You accept that mistakes are part of progress and move anyway. Action builds confidence. Not the other way around. You must hold yourself accountable with brutal honesty. No sugarcoating, no self-deception. If you didn't do the work, admit it. If you wasted time, own it. That level of honesty forces change because you can't improve what you pretend doesn't exist. Excuses thrive in denial, but they disappear when you confront reality. Set clear standards for yourself and measure your actions against them. Either you did what was required or you didn't. There's no middle ground. Results don't care about your reasons, only your actions. When you start thinking this way, excuses lose their power because they no longer serve any purpose. Eliminate excuses daily, in every decision you make. Small excuses lead to small failures, and those failures compound over time. When you remove them completely, you create a direct path between intention and action. You become someone who executes without delay, without hesitation, and without compromise. Command respect by becoming someone who naturally earns it through actions, not words. Respect isn't given because you demand it. It's given because people recognize your standards, your discipline, and your presence. Weak individuals chase approval. Strong individuals build value. You don't beg for attention. You make yourself impossible to ignore by the way you carry yourself and the way you operate daily. It starts with self-respect. If you tolerate your own bad habits, others will too. If you break your own promises, people won't take your words seriously. You set strict standards for yourself and follow them consistently. That creates a foundation where your actions match your intentions. People notice consistency more than anything else. It shows reliability, and reliability builds trust. Your presence matters. The way you speak, the way you move, the way you hold eye contact, it all communicates something. You don't rush your words. You don't speak just to fill silence. When you talk, it's clear and direct. When you listen, it's focused. That control creates authority without you needing to force it. Loudness is not power. Clarity is. Competence is a major factor. People respect those who can actually do things well. Whether it's your work, your craft, or your responsibilities, you aim to be sharp and effective. You don't cut corners. You don't rely on luck. You build skill through repetition and effort. When you consistently produce results, respect follows naturally because people see proof, not promises. Boundaries are essential. If you allow people to disrespect you without consequence, they will continue. You don't tolerate nonsense. And you don't over-explain yourself. You say no when necessary and stand by it. That doesn't mean being aggressive. It means being firm. People test limits, and your response teaches them how to treat you. You also respect others who deserve it. Real strength recognizes strength. You don't act arrogant or dismissive because forced dominance looks weak. You stay grounded, but you don't lower your standards to fit in. There's a difference between confidence and insecurity, and people can feel it immediately. Control over emotions plays a role here too. If you lose control easily, your respect drops instantly. You stay composed, especially under pressure. When things get tense, you don't panic or overreact. That stability makes people see you as dependable and strong. Commanding respect is about alignment. Your thoughts, your words, and your actions all match. There's no contradiction, no confusion. You are clear in who you are and what you stand for. Over time, that clarity builds a reputation. And that reputation speaks before you even enter a room. Command respect by proving through action that you are not to be overlooked. Respect doesn't come from talking about what you'll do. It comes from repeatedly doing what others avoid. You show up when it's inconvenient, you perform when it's difficult, and you stay consistent when most people fall off. That pattern builds a reputation. And reputation is what people respond to, not empty words. You don't chase validation. The moment you start needing approval, you lose authority. People can sense it. Instead, you focus on standards that you set for yourself and refuse to lower them. When you hold that line, even when it costs you comfort or popularity, people recognize it. They may not always like you, but they will respect you. Your communication is controlled and intentional. You don't over-explain, you don't ramble, and you don't speak without purpose. Short, direct, and clear. When you say something, it carries weight because you're not constantly filling space with noise. Silence becomes part of your presence. You're comfortable not speaking, and that alone separates you from those who need attention to feel relevant. Competence is non-negotiable. You must be effective at what you do. Skill commands respect faster than anything else because it's undeniable. When you deliver results consistently, people stop questioning you. They see evidence. You don't rely on opinions, you rely on performance. That's how you build authority in any environment. Boundaries define how people treat you. If you allow disrespect once, it becomes a pattern. You address it immediately, calmly, and firmly. No emotional outbursts, no hesitation, just clear correction. You don't tolerate behavior that goes against your standards. At the same time, you don't waste energy on unnecessary conflict. You pick your moments and handle them with precision. You carry yourself with control. Your posture, your eye contact, your tone, they all communicate confidence. You don't rush, you don't appear uncertain. Even in unfamiliar situations, you remain composed. That composure signals that you can handle pressure, and people instinctively respect those who don't fold under stress. You also give respect where it's earned. You recognize competence and discipline in others without insecurity. That shows strength, not weakness. Arrogance repels respect, but controlled confidence attracts it. You don't need to prove you're better. You prove you're capable. Consistency ties everything together. One strong action won't earn lasting respect, but repeated behavior will. Day after day, you align your actions with your standards. Over time, people stop testing you because they already know what to expect. Not unpredictability, but reliability at a high level. That's what builds real respect and keeps it intact.